president's deportation policy has hit home here in central New York. Last week, immigration authorities raided a small factory near Syracuse in what they said was a criminal investigation. 5 workers have been arrested for re-entering the country after previously being deported. 52 others were detained, and many have already been deported. None had ever been arrested for violent crimes. U.S. Attorney John Zarcone warned other businesses that hire undocumented immigrants, they'll be next. So, Tara, should immigrants, some of these people, they don't have papers, they've been here for years, should they be allowed to stay in this country and work?
Yes and no. Okay. And the reason I say yes is, yes, there should be a procedure so that they can obtain their citizenship. That's, what up until this administration we had been working towards. But we do need to recognize the fact that they are in the country illegally. And that has always been a part of the rub, is that you have people who, for one reason or another, whether it's a delay in the hearing process or whether they came in under the radar and now they built lives and remained under the radar, these people have lived here for years and years and years. They've contributed to the economy. Many of them have children who are now citizens, sometimes grandchildren. And so, that's been the issue, is their original act was illegal, but now they've done all the other things that U.S. citizens do. So I think there should be some sort of path. The other rub here is, how many years? Do you have to be here 3 years? Do you have to be here 5 years? How long do you have to have been here to get this path to citizenship?
Right, but that puts you in a situation where you say, well, if you've been here a certain number of years, you can break the law when you got here.
Exactly.
Right? And that gets pretty
Yes, that's difficult. Yes. I mean, of course, the people who support this kind of movement, they would say that, okay, now you're saying basically that if I can break the law for long enough time, I can be free to, become a citizen of the United States. I would say that, as far as I remember, the administration said that we are going to go after the worst and the most criminal elements in the society and so on and so forth. But here, anecdotally, I'm seeing this woman who was married to this man for 20 years, have 2 children, and all of a sudden masked men coming and taking him away. And, as a father, I do feel sad. Isn't it a cruel and unusual punishment to a child to just separate them from their parents, right, without any due process? So I am worried about the humanistic part of it, right? That I don't like this vision of, masked men without any, identification coming in and just nabbing up people and making them vanish in different areas without much due process. In many cases, they had been going to ICE and actually checking in. They were doing everything according to the law. Right, so and again, the nutrition confectioner Lenny Schmidt, he said that he had vetted these people. They had legal documentation, and I think the process could have been different. But I would like to take a humanist approach. Let's think about people who are, I didn't break immigration law because I didn't have to. I came from privilege, right? So not everybody is like that. And yes, they have committed a felony, but as a country, we can be kinder, I believe.
Well, what about the businesses, right? I mean, in this case, the factory owners said that they've checked everybody's papers and they had working papers. But it's just like the Post-Standard ran a piece not long ago about a farmer who said, yeah, we check it, but we don't know that they're real. So.
Yeah, I mean, first, going back to something you said, Anirban, it's not always a felony. It's a misdemeanor. A lot of these violations are misdemeanors. And we got so fixated on, they broke the law, and yeah, they broke the law because there wasn't a legal way for them to come here, right? It wasn't intentional the way we see some other criminal acts, right? They would like a legal way to come here and to stay here, and we do not offer that. We make that extremely difficult. And so I would like to get away from this idea that they broke the law, therefore they should be punished. We need to find a better way. And like you said, in part, for the humanity, of human aspects, but also, like you're suggesting, for economic reasons. This was an important factory that made nutrition bars that employed, 70 people at least in the community. And these owners have had this business for since 1980. And it was a good business, and provided economic opportunities for this for this place. And, you know, if we do this, keep doing this across the country, it is going to have local economic impacts, which add up over time. Not to mention the fact that it costs a lot of money to run these raids and to do this kind of enforcement. I mean, we're just spending billions of dollars on this. Is this where we want to spend our law enforcement dollars, or are there bigger, more important issues? And it's hard to kind of talk about, you know, these issues without pointing out that President Trump is a lawless president. So if we're worried about, you know, endorsing lawlessness, I'm thinking there's bigger issues here.
Tara?
You know, a couple of other things about these particular raids is that one of the things that the Assistant Attorney General Sarconi said was that, well, the jobs that are the people who are losing these jobs, they'll be replaced by local people, and this will increase employment. Well, the area has one of the lowest employment rates in New York State. That's one of the issues. The other issue is, and this is is one of the concerns for me, is that according to the owners, they checked with both the IRS and ICE to make sure that these people were all set in terms of their paperwork, et cetera. And when questioned about this, ICE didn't respond, nor did the IRS, as to, okay, did you basically give the okay for these people to work at this plant?